Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Anaïs. Thank you for tuning in to Sun and Moon Yoga Studio's YouTube live stream every morning at 10 a.m. Today we're going to be focusing on the lower body, creating a little bit of length and space there, and seeing what that does for the rest of the body at the same time. So to get started today, you will need a blanket because we'll be working with our knees. We want lots of extra padding there. And then I always recommend having blocks handy for stability or to give you a little more height. So once you have your props, go ahead and find an easy seat. Any seat is fine. And then just allow yourself to relax into this seat and tune into the breath. Maybe softening the eyes or closing them all together. Just check in with the breath. Hopefully as a way to create a habit of doing so. Checking in often. Just noticing here the space that's created inside the body as we breathe in. Welcoming the air inside. And as we exhale, whether that sense of spaciousness can still be there, can still remain, as the outside of the body begins to take up a little more space on your mat. So a couple more breaths like that, just tuning into the spaciousness of the inhale inside the body and allowing that sense of space to remain as we exhale and settle in a little bit deeper onto the mat. All right, one or two more breaths like that. Really feeling the breath, feeling the body, tuning out any thoughts that may be coming by, just allowing them to pass through as you continue to maintain contact and awareness with the breath and the inside of the body. Now slowly turning our awareness back outside, you can begin to open your eyes softly, receiving a little more light. Before we begin moving, just take a moment to pause here with eyes open. Take a breath in, again, finding space inside the body. Exhale, creating extra space for your body on the mat. Just making a mental note of what that feels like. Remembering that you can always come back to it later on throughout the day or the week. All right, so from here, I'm going to remove my blanket, but if it helps you feel a little more comfortable, you can keep it underneath you. We're going to come into Cobbler's pose, so bringing the soles of the feet together. They can be a little bit closer or a little bit further away. You can play that by ear based on what feels more comfortable for you this morning. All right, and from here, we're just going to begin by making easy circles. Circling the spine in one direction. Really feeling the rootedness of your seat on the mat here, so that we have nice stability for our spine as we make these circles. And then switch direction of the circles, coming in the opposite direction now. And then pause somewhere in the middle. Again, root down through your seat. Inhale as you lengthen your spine. And then begin to fold forward from the hips. All right, once your hips stop, you're not going any further. Just let your head hang down and your upper spine round. So letting the weight of the head and the gravity create a more passive stretch here in the neck and maybe even into the back. And just breathe into that, creating a little more space behind the heart and the shoulder blades. Maybe allowing the head to drop down a little further. Let the shoulders relax. And on your next inhale, lift your head back up. Keep your right hand on your feet. Bring the back of the left hand to the small of your back. Inhale, lift your heart up and twist open. Maintaining that groundedness through the seat. Really feel anchored through the seat. And then just allow the upper body to experiment a little bit here with opening and creating spaciousness. Okay, release that. Let's come to the other side. Nice deep breaths here if it helps create more space. Nice deep breaths are almost always a good thing, I should mention. And then release that. All right, let your head hang. Inhale, let the back puff up a little bit right behind the heart. So rounding the spine, a little more exaggerated this time. As you exhale, scoop your chest forward, lift your chin just a tiny bit. All right, and then letting the head hang again. Inhale, round your spine. Exhale, pull the chest through, lift your chin. Let the shoulders fall away from the ears. A little cat-cow movement here. Just go in and out of that a couple times, letting your breath set the pace. All right, release that. From here, we're going to straighten the legs. Option to come onto your seat for a little more height if you know your hamstrings are a little tight. All right, so knees come towards straight, but they don't necessarily have to be straight here. Still get the benefits of the pose. And we're gonna pretend like we're swimming here and just make some easy strokes. Right arm comes over to the outside of the left leg, and then the left arm comes over to the outside of the right leg. And really let this be natural, allowing the knees to bend and straighten, allowing the chest to sway side to side, creating a little bit of warmth in the legs before some deeper stretches and movement. Make some bigger circles with the arms, or keep them small, it's up to you. All right, one more on each side here. Okay, and then remove the blanket blanket out from underneath you. Come into a cross-legged seat for just a moment here as we transition. And then roll onto hands and knees. Okay, from here, step your right foot forward between both hands. Option to bring your blocks underneath the hands. I like to keep my blocks handy at the top of my mat, so I welcome you to do the same here. And you're just going to guide the knee forward and back, so bending as you come forward, and then straightening the leg as your knee comes back. Toes will pop up off the ground. Let this be an easy, organic movement. Again, just warming up the hamstrings and getting into the hips a little bit more here. You can maybe even incorporate your cat-cow movements if that feels good. Make it a full body movement. All right, one more time, forward and back. And then bring the right knee to meet the left and step the left foot forward. All right, guide the knee forward and back a couple times on this side now. Beginning with some gentle movements and eventually maybe finding a little more range of motion so that the leg comes towards straight a little bit more each time. As that starts to feel warmed up, you can experiment with inviting the whole body into the movement. So adding cat-cow if that feels good with the spine. Really breathing in to any areas of tightness to help open up the body and make the movements a little more fluid. All right, pause there, bring both knees back together. You can remove your blocks for just a moment, and then go ahead and bring your blanket. Maybe you already had it underneath your knees for those movements, but if not, go ahead and bring it underneath you again, because you're gonna want it here. All right, now turn to face the side of your mat, the long edge of your mat. Come onto both knees and press yourself up so that you're standing on your knees. Your chest is upright. All right, from here, you're gonna step your right foot forward. This is a little bit of a balancing act here. So let the heel touch the ground, let the leg come towards straight. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, release your hands down to your sides. Maybe place the hands on your hips. All right, if this is stable, and if you're feeling a little warmed up in the hamstring here, and again, your knee doesn't need to be completely straight. You can keep it soft or slightly bent. Maybe this is enough here. I invite you also, if you'd like, to fold at the hips, coming forward and down. Couple breaths here, and then inhale, lift your head back up, chest comes back to straight, and then slide or swing that front leg behind you. All right, so if this is feeling uncomfortable, the leg straight behind you, you can bring the knee down to the mat and just keep the knees staggered. That's fine, okay? Or if it feels good, lift the knee up. Find a little bit of stretch and opening going on here in the upper thigh. Just breathe into that. And then again, if you're feeling nice and stable here, inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, allow your chest to open, shoulders fall away from the ears, bringing a little back bend just behind the heart. And release your hands back down, bring your knees back together. We're going to switch over to the other side, so take your left foot out. Bringing the heel down to the ground. Let the heel be heavy. And again, let the knee be soft, so avoid any tendency to get rigid here. Try to keep it as soft as possible, even if that means bringing a little bit of bend to the knee. That's perfectly fine. All right, so once you're feeling stable here, inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands down to meet the hips and fold forward. Nice deep breaths here as we open up the back of the leg. And on your next inhale, bring your chest back upright and slide your foot behind you. Again, coming towards straight or placing the knee back down on your mat or blanket so that the knees are staggered. All right, nice deep breaths here. You're on the toes with the back foot. Help you feel a little more stable. And again, this might be enough, and if so, just breathe into that upper thigh. If you want to find a little opening in the chest, I invite you to reach your arms up on an inhale. Nice deep breath. Exhale, find space in the chest, opening up so that the shoulders fall away from the ears. And you find a little back bend right behind the heart. And release the hands back down. Bring both knees back together on your blanket. And then switching sides again, take your right leg straight out to the side. Inhale, reach both arms up. And grounding down through the lower body, reach both arms over towards the right side. So nice side seam stretch here. And release your right arm down towards that leg as you reach over with the left arm. A little bit deeper this time. All right, nice and stable in the lower body. Engage the abdomen as you swing both arms up with control. Inhale. Exhale, release your left hand down to the mat on the opposite side and reach your right arm over. Nice deep breaths here. And then slowly with control, engage the abs, ground down through the lower body as you swing both arms back up. Inhale, reach up one last time. Exhale, release your arms down by your sides. Bring both knees back together. Step the left leg out to the side. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, ground down through the lower body as you reach over, as if you were a plant, a flower, reaching over towards the sun. Bring the arms over to the left side. Let your left hand drop down as you reach the right arm over. Nice space all along the right side seam here. You feel strong in the lower body and light, spacious and open all along the upper body side seam. All right, with control, engaging the abs, swing both arms up one by one, same way we came out or same way we came in. And then over to the opposite side, right hand comes down to your mat, left arm reaches overhead. Deep breaths here, and then coming back out the same way we came in with control. Swing the top arm up, bottom arm comes up to meet it, and release your arm arms down. All right, let's go ahead and remove the blanket. Come on to hands and knees for just a moment, table pose. All right, spread the fingers so that they feel nice and grounded into the mat, so you can really feel all 5 pads grounding down. And then tuck the toes, lift your knees, press the chest in towards your thighs as you lift your hips up towards the sky for a down dog. All right, keep the heels peeled away from the mat, so looking for nice length all the way along the back of the legs here. And then just begin to walk your dog out. After you're feeling a little warmed up there, flip the left foot, bringing the toenails to the mat and press down. All right, bring the left foot back down, flip the right foot so that the toenails meet the mat and press down. Engage the biceps here to keep you feeling stable and steady. Then release that. Inhale, straighten your right leg behind you. And exhale, step it wide to the outside of the right foot. Let your left knee come down. And then open your right arm back, all the way back as you reach out and open out to the side. Nice, easy breaths here as we move into new territory. And then bring your right hand back down. Lift the back knee up. Step the right foot back, coming into plank for just a breath. Exhale, lift the hips back up to down dog. And then lift the left leg up. Straightening it back behind you. And then stepping forward to the outside of the left palm. Bring your back knee down to the mat. And this time, reach open and back with the left arm. Feels good. You can even roll to the outside of the left foot here, creating a little more space in the front of the hips. Or if that feels unstable, just keeping the foot firmly grounded on the mat. All right, bring that left hand back down, lift the back knee up, step the left leg straight back, plank. Exhale, lift the hips back up to down dog. This time you're going to bring the left knee down to the mat. Pivot the back foot so that it meets the mat, so that the sole of the foot meets the mat. And then reach your right arm up towards the sky as you open out to the side. Bring the right hand back down, press back up to down dog. This time, place the right knee down onto the mat and pivot the left foot so that it comes down to the mat. Lift your left arm up towards the sky, opening out to the side here. Feeling a nice open expansion, as if you are opening your arms to welcome someone, maybe yourself, into your arms. And then bring that left hand back down. Press back up to down dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up. And then step it forward to the outside of the right palm. Bring the left knee back down to the mat. Reach back with your right arm. This time I invite you, if it feels good or safe, to lift the back foot up, maybe reaching back with your hand for that foot. And again, option to roll to the outside of the right foot for a little more opening in the hips if that feels good. If it's not feeling stable, then bring your foot back down to the mat. All right, release the back foot back down. Bring your right hand down to the mat. Lift your back knee and step the right foot straight back for plank. Inhale, exhale, press up to down dog, and lift the left leg. Step it wide, coming to the outside of the left foot here. Gently place the right knee down to your mat and reach back with your left arm. All right, option again to stay here or to lift that back foot up, maybe reaching back with your hand for the foot. If that feels too intense in the knees or the thighs, you can let that foot come back down to the mat. And again, option to roll that front foot to the outer edge, getting into the hips a little bit more. And then rolling back down with that front foot. Release the back foot down. Bring your left hand down to the mat. Lift the back knee up. Step back to plank and press up. All right, option here to come back to our first side opener here like this. Or if you're looking to play with a little more balance, a little more strength today, you can shift your heels over to the left side of your mat, stack the feet, and come into side plank. And release back down, coming back through center. Come on over to the other side, either into your side plank or supported side plank with knee down on the mat. A couple more breaths here. All right, bring the left hand back down to the mat. Press up to down dog. Nice deep breath to recover. And then lift the right leg up, straight back behind you. This time, step it forward to the inside of the right hand. And then guide the foot to the outer edge of to the left edge of your mat. All right, placing the shin down on the mat here. Slide your back leg back to come into pigeon. So option to bring your blanket underneath the front hip here. If that helps you feel more stable. Option to bring your blocks in front of you. I like to give my wrists a little bit of rest here and come onto my forearms. Or maybe coming down to the mat and resting your head down. Breaths here, noticing that we're still opening, but this is much more passive. So you can use the breath here to bring awareness and help you create maybe a little more space. But let this be restorative as we begin to wind down. So really tuning into the breath as it begins to slow. Noticing what that does for the body as our movements begin to slow. Take one more nourishing breath here, one that really helps you feel like you're releasing down, taking up lots of space on the mat as the hips open up. And then remove your blanket, press yourself back up to down dog. All right, moving over to the opposite side here. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Step it forward, this time to the inside of the left hand. And then guide the foot to the right edge of the mat as you place your shin down and slide into pigeon. Okay, option again to bring your blanket underneath the elevated hip. And to give your wrists some rest by bringing the blocks underneath you or coming onto your forearms, either on the mat or on the blocks. You might notice some differences between side to side, and that's perfectly fine. See if you can tune into the breath again. And help the mind and body get back in sync with the pace of your breath. More breaths, make them really nourishing as we make the most of this restorative pose. Imagining that the breath with every inhale creates lots of space in the hips, so that as you exhale you can release a little bit further down into the mat. Go ahead and gently remove your props out of the way. You're going to come onto your belly here. Legs straighten underneath you. We're going to come into a twist, and this can feel a little bit funky at first, so just be patient and be kind with yourself if it doesn't make all that much sense right away. All right, so from here, you're going to bend your left knee, bringing it out to the side. Straighten your left arm. And then thread the right arm underneath the left so that the right shoulder comes down to the mat. All right, really nestle it nicely underneath there. You'll feel a little bit of a twist. And then bring your head down to the mat and roll your chest open, bringing your left hand to the left shoulder. And the hand, the arm here will help you feel a little more open the more you bring the elbow back or forward. So you can play around with that depending on how open you're feeling, on how good this twist is feeling. Back down to your chest. Moving over to the other side here. So straightening the legs again. And then bring your right knee out to the side. Straighten your right arm so that you thread your left arm underneath you, coming onto the left shoulder. Drop your head down to the mat and roll your chest open towards the sky, bringing the right hand to right shoulder. see if you can relax into this. Notice any areas of tension and gently guide your breath there. Okay, gently come back down to your chest. Press yourself up to your knees. Let the knees come wide to the outer edges of the mat here. Extend your arms forward on the mat towards straight, bringing the hips down towards the heels so that you can place your forehead down on the mat for a wide-legged child's pose. This is restorative. Again, we're winding down here. See if you can take some nice deep breaths into the back body. This pose really helps facilitate that, so see what that feels like. Here, slowly begin to walk your hands in as your spine comes back upright. Eventually coming back onto your seat. I invite you to come onto your back. Make any last movements that might feel really good here. Some of the favorites are Apanasana, bringing the knees in together and rocking side to side. Or Happy Baby, opening the knees out wide and bringing the hands to the outer edges of the feet as you rock side to side. So making a couple more movements like that. And then as you're ready, straighten your legs and come into comfortable, easy Shavasana. Breaths here. Eventually, bring the knees back in, hug them in, rock from side to side. Press yourself up to a seated position, taking as much time as you need. And then bring the hands together in front of your heart. Take a nice deep breath together. Inhale. Allowing that space to enter the body. Exhale, releasing so that we may take up a little more space on our mats and in our worlds. Thank you guys so much for joining today. I hope you enjoyed